Your citrus tree can live for over 100 years. In this video, we're going to give you all the essential tips on how to keep your citrus alive in a container for years to come.
We'll start with what you do the day you bring that plant home. And then we're going to go through some of the key things to take care of it, and then finish with a yearly schedule so your citrus can thrive for decades. Let's get started.
The first thing you're going to do is inspect your plant for pests. I usually start with the leaves. I look for any yellowing, curling, spotting, webbing, things of that nature. And then I move down and take a look at the roots. I want them to not have a bad smell or be crumbly when I touch them. They should be strong and look really healthy. And this plant looks like it's doing great.
Oh yeah. Now, next step is to treat and clean this plant up. Well, it looks super healthy. It did come from a big plant nursery with lots of other growers walking around. So we're going to act as if it might have some pests hanging on, which it probably does. So the first step for me is to clean it with a light insecticidal soap. Then I'm going to do a clean water rinse after that. And once that's complete, I want to re-inoculate with a healthy ecosystem. And we're going to use our microbe feed, which has tons of different microbes and beneficials to really get a good environment going on the plant's leaves and also roots.
So the next step is to decide if you're going to transplant your tree. So the things that I think of is one, is it in dire need to get into a new pot? And one of the ways you tell that is, are the roots starting to circle in tight, meaning that it's root bound, or, which this one isn't, or are you starting to see roots flowing out the bottom, showing that there isn't enough room for the root growth? So those are signs that it's ready to move.
Now that being said, timing is everything for transplanting citrus. Spring or early summer, when the tree is actively growing, that's when you want to do it because the soil is drying out faster during that time of year, first place. And second of all, those new roots will actually move into that new soil. Now, if you try doing it in the winter or the fall and don't have much supplemental light and it's cool, what's going to happen is that water is just going to soak up, no new roots are going to grow in there, and you're going to get root rot.
When you're ready to transplant your tree, fast draining soil is key. What you're probably going to want to do is find a citrus-specific soil. It'll have the slightly acidic pH that citrus trees love, as well as that fast drainage. But if you can't find that, you also can use something like a cactus soil mixed 50-50 with a general potting soil.
And you can add some sulfur, or you can add something like peat to increase the acidity of the soil. When picking a container, I personally, over plastic, like to use something like fabric or terracotta, so there's some aeration. You don't have to worry as much about root rot. Now, that being said, you also do have to worry more about things drying out. So if you're in a hot, dry place, you might want to use plastic, but if you're like us and in New England and bringing them indoors, you might want to use something like fabric or terracotta. Now, if you're using a fast-draining potting soil, you can pot up a lot more aggressively, meaning going from a smaller pot to a much bigger pot. But if you're using a traditional house plant soil with a ton of peat in it, it's going to hold a ton of water. So really only go up one pot size at a time. Otherwise, you'll wind up with root rot.
Light. Citrus trees need lots of light. If you're indoors, you're going to want to find the sunniest southern facing window and put your citrus tree there. If it's still going to get less than 6 to 8 hours of light a day, you're going to want to supplement with some sort of grow light as well. Don't forget to rotate your citrus plant so that it grows evenly towards that light source. And if you're growing the plant outdoor in the warmer summer months, you want to put it in direct sunshine for 8 to 12 hours a day.
Make sure to monitor both temperature and humidity for your citrus plant, both in the wintertime and in the summertime. Ideally, temps are between 70 and 85 degrees. That's where they're going to be the most productive. Anything above that, they start getting stressed out, especially if it's over 95 degrees. You might see some damage. And once the temps drop below 50 outside in the fall, make sure to bring them indoors until the temps once again rise above 50 degrees at night. Now for humidity, the ideal is between 40 and 60% all year round. Maybe when it's warmer, they can deal with higher humidity outside, but if you're indoors and it gets too dry, your leaves will start dropping pretty quick. And if it's too high, you'll start getting rot.
Quick tips to increase humidity. You can put a humidifier near the tree. You can lightly mist the tree with water once a day. You can put a pebble tray below the tree filled with water that'll create a humid environment. Or you can even cluster other plants around the tree to create a microenvironment of humidity.
Now, watering. Like every plant, don't underwater, don't overwater. Now, what does that mean? Okay, so in the wintertime, they're not drinking, so water way less. I'm talking possibly every couple weeks, depending on the container size. In the summer, they might be drinking like crazy. So make sure you stay on top of that, especially because if it dries out and gets hot, you could kill your plant.
Now, the way you water citrus trees is really important because their roots actually stretch out across the top of the soil and don't tend to go very deep. So therefore, if you overwater, they're really susceptible to root rot. The way to keep it pretty consistent is allow the first 1 to 2 inches of soil to dry out before you water. And keep in mind, in the winter, this is going to take even longer because the plant isn't pulling water out of the base to make new growth, fruits, and blooms.
So to summarize, if you're bringing your plant in the winter, it's going dormant, barely water it, maybe every few weeks. It's not growing, it doesn't need much water. Just keep it from drying out completely. Now in the summertime, when it's growing aggressively and there's hot, dry air blowing through, you need to be on top of your watering. On those hot days, you might need to give it some water every single day. When to feed? When the plant's growing. So again, spring and summertime, that plant is growing. You want to feed light but consistent. Think about all those roots. They're kind of staying shallow. So you want to top feed. Less is more over time. And choose a fertilizer that is geared towards citrus ideally, but if not, it's an evenly balanced one, meaning particularly there isn't a ton of phosphorus. So you want your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium levels to be about even. And particularly if the phosphorus is too high, it will block out micronutrient uptake. Now in the wintertime, you're probably not going to feed at all. If you're bringing your plant indoors and just keeping it alive until the spring comes back, just take it easy, don't add fertilizer. That's how you'll get root rot.
Now, we don't need to prune this plant just yet, but if you have a plant that's larger or it's the spring or summer months, you are going to want to consider pruning. You'll want to prune any suckers that are on the main trunk of the tree, as well as anything that's below the grafting line if the plant has been grafted. Don't thin out the middle too much. They actually like to be bushy.
That being said, we do want to pull these little buds and fruits right off because this plant's not ready to produce yet. It's too little, it can't handle it. So we're gonna wait a couple years before we allow this guy to fruit out. Now, once it's bigger, we're gonna give some spacing between fruits. The suggestion is about 4 to 6 inches between each fruit you allow to grow out. This ensures it's not overburdened with too much production and you'll get really good fruit. And if you need to pollinate, say you're keeping the plant indoors and there's no wind and you see some flowers popping up, you can use a paintbrush to spread some pollen around to make sure you get some good fruiting.
And if that pollinating leads to good big fruits, don't rush to pick them. The longer you wait, the sweeter they get, as well as the larger they get. So be patient.
Now, let's just give you a quick yearly rundown. Ready? Starting in the spring, you're going to bring your plants out. Wait until the temps get above 45 and make sure they stay above that temperature. Now, when bringing them out, you want to do this gradually. Pick a cloudy day, ideally, so they don't get shocked by all this intense sunlight coming on. Now, once it's summertime, this is growth time, right? So you want to give them as much sun as possible. Over 8 hours, as much as you can, direct onto the plant. Water regularly, check it out for pests and spider mites, and then make sure to stay on top of your feeding. Now in the fall, when your temps start dropping down to below 50, that's when it's time to bring it in. But before you do that, I would strongly suggest treating for pests and then doing it again after you bring it in about a week later, because they almost always bring them in from outside. You want to put it in the sunniest window you can find and probably supplement with grow light. Winter, more of the same. Keep it in as much light as you can. If you're getting less than 8 hours, add a grow light and make sure the temps stay above 60 and your humidity above 40%.
Lastly, we want to make sure you keep an eye out for these common problems. Yellowing leaves. This is often caused by overwatering, nutrient deficiencies, or a lack of light. So you have to adjust your care as needed if you're seeing these.
Leaf drop often is due to low humidity. So when you bring it inside or transition to indoors, you are going to often see leaf drop. Now, you can increase the light and humidity. It still might happen anyways, but it'll reduce it.
Look out for root rot. This is when you don't have a fast draining soil and or you're overwatering. So be careful.
Pests to particularly keep your eye out for are spider mite, scale, and aphids, especially outside. Treat them early and often once you see them.
You might notice that your plant is randomly dropping fruit. This is caused by inconsistent watering, low humidity, or sudden temperature changes. So if your fruit aren't growing as large as you expected and before they fall off the tree, that might be why.
And if everything looks good and you're just getting small fruit or no fruit at all, it could mean your plant's not getting pollinated. So try that tip with the brush to spread pollen around.
Caring for a citrus tree can be really easy. Just remember that the proper light, watering, and feeding can keep you having a productive citrus tree for decades to come. If you like this video, like and subscribe for more plant care tips, and happy growing.